Next on Breed All About It. They're as buoyant as boats.
The breed has a natural instinct to retrieve, save lives.
Please, help! Help, please!
And the ability to sense distress.
Very afraid of the water. And Lottie knows that.
Their massive size is only matched by their big hearts.
These guys are the biggest snuggle bugs that you would ever want to meet.
These cuddly playmates are pronounced the same way as their homeland.
Newfoundland, rhymes with understand.
Come to shore and meet the Newfoundland. At first glance, you might mistake this giant dark fur ball for a black bear. But actually, the Newfoundland is more of a teddy bear in spirit and nature. The breed is affectionately called Newf, or Newfie for short. Almost all Newfs look the same. Black coat, brown eyes, and big huggable bodies. A black and white version, called Fanciers, make up 18% of the population. The brown and silver are even more rare. A melting pot of breeds probably helped to create the gentle Newfoundland. Maybe some Mastiff or Great Pyrenees contributed to the breed size. A variety of sheepdogs or spaniels gave the breed its coat and disposition. And its phenomenal skills as a swimmer most likely came from the water dog family. The breed's aquatic skills were a great attraction to landlubber Johanna Davis.
Embarrassing part is that I was born and raised in Hawaii, but I don't know how to swim, and I'm afraid of the water. That was one of the reasons that I got attracted to the dogs.
A family of doggy lifeguards keeps Johanna cool under pressure.
We do a lot of outdoors activities, and we're close to the water. And I felt that if I had a Newf, if anything should happen, I know my Newf would take care of me, would save me. No, you don't do that.
But 7 saviors?
The Newfs are, for me, very special. I always want to be surrounded by them. So that for me, they're all 7 of them do stay in the house.
Come a second. Oh, wow.
Johanna's 5 classic black Newfies are roommates to 2 less traditional Fanciers.
The couch potatoes.
The Fanciers are both 12 years old. A Newfie's average lifespan is closer to 9.5, but these homebodies have outlasted the stats.
Good girl, Lottie.
Exercise can keep any well-bred Newfie young at heart.
Good job. Good job, Lottie.
Lottie, go get it.
4-year-old Latte is an amateur in the Newfie equivalent to the Olympics.
You can't drop it on the way. They have to hand it to you.
Latte is in training for the Newfoundland Junior Water Dog Trials.
Good girl, Lottie.
The dryland exercises simulate the trials that will actually take place in water.
Good job.
Help me, Latte, help.
The take-a-line drill helps a
Latte,
person who
help
has
me.
fallen
Bring it
overboard
to me,
or is
Latte.
drowning.
Oh, good girl. Bring it to me, Latte. Oh,
You
good
send your
girl.
dog with the line so the person can hang on to the line,
Thank you,
and the dog
Latte.
would tow the victim back to shore.
All right, Lottie. Bring her to shore. Bring her to shore. Good girl.
Good girl. Oh, you saved my life. Thank you so much. Thank you for saving me.
Practice is casual.
That was cool.
Bring it here, honey. Bring it here.
The stress begins when the actual tests take place on water.
Bring it to Mama. Come on, bring it to Mama.
Today's trials begin with a little pep talk between owner Pat Drew and her pup, Peppy.
Give it. Oh, Peppy, bring it here.
Well, maybe a second pep talk will do the trick.
Here. Here. Thank you.
A late but great response for a senior water dog.
Help me, please. Please, help.
Now the junior dogs take their turn at today's high country Newfoundland water trials. It's an event that requires a crew of volunteers.
This is Tobo.
Julie Daniel acts as captain of the staged rescue efforts.
All right, Monty.
Julie's also today's water trial analyst.
This dog could very well get a talking to and perform very nicely tomorrow.
3-year-old Flower and owner Jane Kalesa are first in line for the junior competition.
Well, the first exercise is the single retrieve, and the handler throws that boat bumper, and it has to be at least 30 feet out into the water.
This dog may have the flower power to complete the task, but her attitude needs a little sprucing.
No, Flower. No, no.
Flower's skills haven't quite blossomed.
And Flower, because she's a young and interested dog, has a tendency to get very excited about all the other things on the beach. But look, she's going to do it. She knows how to do it. She just thought she'd go and check out the beach first.
More is expected of the next contestant.
Wonderful performances, nice solid performances. That's what we're hoping for. No hesitation, no pause. Just go in, do your job, get out. That's what we want to see them do.
And Latte is expected to do just that. Johanna has high hopes.
The dog has 60 seconds to swim out, retrieve it, and then deliver it to his handler who waits for him on shore.
Latte needs no coaxing.
As you see, this dog went and committed immediately, went and got the bumper and is bringing it back to the handler. It has to deliver two-hand, which means it's not allowed to drop it on the beach. It was a perfect job.
Good job.
Worthy of applause. Next, the take-a-line exercise.
The handler gives the dog the knotted end of a 75-foot line. The dog has 90 seconds to take hold of the line, swim it out close enough to the steward, and grab hold of it.
In days of old, a Newfie also had to know how to grab a hold of an unconscious victim and bring him to safety. It's a good bet that Latte could complete that exercise too.
This is a really solid performance. Two stewards position their boat about 50 feet from shore. One steward will then attract that dog's attention by splashing a bumper with an 8-foot line attached in the water. The dog must swim out, take the bumper from the steward, and pull the boat all the way until it touches bottom, all in 90 seconds.
A well-performing Newfie can cut through water like a barge. Now for the trial that proves more stressful for owner than dog.
Now, I'm just learning how to swim.
It's all right.
And I'm afraid of water. So
Just take it easy.
Watch me.
I'm watching you.
I'm very afraid of the water. So, and Latte knows that.
This is the swim with handler. The dog and handler enter the water edge together.
Johanna must then dog paddle out 20 feet past wading depth. For Johanna, the judge's signal comes none too soon. The whistle allows her to direct Latte to swim back to shore. Johanna can now relax and float freely behind her rescue dog.
One successful WD. That was a nice solid performance. That's what you really would like, is a nice steady solid thing. It is very nicely done.
Final analysis. Latte ranks first in her division. Mom Johanna rates first in conquering her fear of water. They both shine while recreating the role of the life-saving Newfoundland. The Newfoundland is as majestic and enduring as the northeastern Canadian province whose name it bears. The locals of Harbor Grace, Newfoundland even claim one of these gentle giants slumber at the entrance to the bay. Is he part of local legend, or can you see him in the rock formation too? His massive head rests on his paws, loyally keeping watch over his fatherland, right at home in the cold Atlantic waters.
Come on, buddy.
Creators of the lineage knew how to craft a sturdy seafaring breed. Sailor is a modern-day reflection of the original breeder's efforts.
Heave away, all the way, is it?
Newfoundlander Bruce Little introduced Sailor to the J&B schooner 3 years ago. He travels with tourists every day each summer on this tour boat. It's a role he dove right into.
First season, I spent quite a bit of time making sure he didn't jump over you, because he had the urge. It's not a habit you want to get him into when you're out there in the ocean.
There you go. Speak. There you go.
Newfies were originally bred to spend months on the high seas. Their primary purpose, to guard the lives of their crewmates. Sailor is well suited for jumping to the rescue if a tourist or crewman were to take an unfortunate fall overboard. He's also well suited when it comes to attire.
The dog has a double coat. The difficulty is to penetrate it. Basically, the water just beads right off.
The Newfie's long outer coat and soft, fine undercoat both have natural oils. The hair acts as a rain slicker. The durable double coat allows the dog to break ice and tolerate frigid water better than any other retriever. While most breeds have webbing between their toes, a Newf's feet are completely webbed, like a duck's.
So you see, it's from toe to toe. They were designed for swimming. There's no doubt about it.
Oh, watch out. It might not be just seafoam spraying on your face when the wind whips up.
The drool sometimes is known to be thrown 20 feet, so walls and ceilings are easy targets. That's why it's handy to keep a little rag around for the drool.
When the sea kicks up, it's time to steer back to the safe harbor of St. John's Bay. The Newfie adjusts to water or land easily. The same can be said for the company he keeps.
When I researched the dogs, I knew I was going to have a child. I had to be sure that the temperament would take anything that she could dish out.
The Newfoundland has few peers when it comes to compatibility with children.
They do have this instinct to be protective too, particularly over children.
The bond remains tight, whether at work on a boat or at play on shore. When it comes to caring and protecting, the admiration is mutual between Newfie and owner. 300 miles away, across the Gulf of St. Lawrence, Devin Nutbeam is the caregiver, and a new batch of Newfies are the ones in need.
And it's still such a miracle. Every time I have a litter, it's like the first time.
Devin's been a Newfoundland breeder for 16 years.
Oh, I'm so hungry, I'm so hungry, I'm so hungry. It's the most precious gift.
From the puppy's first hours to the Newfoundland's earliest days, Devin is an expert on the gentle giants.
Well, there's no absolute proof of exactly how the breed came about. When the Vikings came in 1000 AD and settled in northern Newfoundland, they had with them what was later known as the Viking bear dog. They had a very, very heavy ruff right here, a very heavy coat and sort of pendulous skin.
The Newfoundland evolved into a powerful, even-tempered dog that could survive harsh climates and cooperate with their masters.
All those kinds of traits were very much involved with the dog at that time, being incredibly good with children, life-saving in water as well as in snow, and being very good at draft work.
Exported in the 1800s, the Newfoundlands were a status symbol in Europe. And it was the English nobility, not the Canadians, who developed the Landseer.
The Landseer developed as a cross between the Newfoundland and the British White Estate dog, which is now extinct. Those two were interbred to create this white and black version of the Newfoundland. It was called the Landseer because Sir Edwin Landseer painted some very famous paintings of the Landseer, the white and black version, which got to be very popular in England.
When Devin was a mere pup herself, Newfoundland's lieutenant governor asked Devin's mother, Megan Nutbeam, to help revitalize the breed.
There were so few Newfoundlands left in Newfoundland in those days. To breed properly, I had to bring in outside blood to mix with the local dogs that I had from here.
Megan traveled to Switzerland and found Romy, who had the perfect characteristics.
First of all, the temperament is the top thing. I mean, if it's not a big old sooky dog that loves everybody, and particularly children, if they don't have that, they're not a Newfoundland.
Come on, let's go, come on. The Newfoundland is primarily a companion animal these days. It is terribly important to us as fanciers of the breed to make sure that the instinct that took so many years to evolve in this breed is kept alive.
Devin rustles up the herd, carrying her family tradition on, and on, and on. She's got 10 if you're counting.
I'll fathom. Well, sweetie, time to go back to be babies.
And on. Devin is always looking to breed the next generation to be better than the last. Her two most serious health concerns are hip dysplasia and heart disease.
Hips and elbows and checking for hearts and all these things that can be a hereditary defect.
These 2-week-old pups will soon grow to be big, and I mean big. Would you believe that at 140 pounds, Navy is still growing?
Come on.
He won't reach maturity for another 2 years.
Good boy. There you go. Stand up. Come on. Good boy. And this, of course, is an adolescent. He's just a teenager at 16 months, so he's got a lot of developing left to do.
Navy will be larger and stronger than his sisters, but on average, Newfs weigh about 150 pounds. And considering the Newfoundland size, his grooming needs are about average.
If you devote an hour and a half once a week to grooming these guys, that's all you'll need.
Your house, though, may need a bit more attention with a few Newfs around.
This is a product of last week's grooming of 10 Newfoundlands, and this is not shedding season. How about you, Tuffet? You gonna come too?
A Newfoundland isn't overly active, so his exercise needs aren't rigorous. He'll never be your jogging partner, but he can keep a slow, steady pace for long distances.
These dogs are built for comfort, not for speed. Good puppies. Let's go. Come on. They were used as draft animals around the city and around the province. I think around the turn of the century, there were 2,000 Newfoundlands employed just in the city of St. John's alone. Come on, Doc, let's go. Good man. Good boy.
Today's carting activities may be limited to just hauling a child around.
That is their greatest pleasure. If they can just be with you and be very much a part of what's going on, they'll go to the moon with you. They'll do whatever. Their choice is to be with you.
It's been said that nowhere in the world will you find a friend more faithful and gentle than the Newfoundland. The breed also seems to draw the same characteristics out of their owners. You will meet such a man at Harbor Grace, Newfoundland. Matt Brazel is Mr. Mom to 7 squirmy, squeaky, and sleepy 5-week-old Newfie puppies.
Start of it all, it was 7 o'clock in the morning there was a feeding, 11 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 7 o'clock in the evening, 11 o'clock at night, and 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm feeding right now five times a day.
A young Newf has a hearty appetite. Between 3 and 18 months, a Newfie puppy eats several pounds of puppy food a day. The 4 males and 3 females were born to Matt's pride and pleasure.
Abby was the first pup I ever seen born. She was the only female out of the litter. She had 7 brothers, and I was wanting a female, so I was hoping to have 4 or 5 females to pick from, but I got stuck with Abby, and I couldn't ask for a nicer dog to be stuck with.
Abby grew and delivered 2 litters of puppies. Her first pregnancy went smoothly. Her second ended in an unexpected tragedy.
She had the first 2 within an hour, and then she just stopped having contractions.
Just after midnight, Abby began having complications. Exhausted from the stress of the pregnancy, her body began to shut down. Matt rushed her to the veterinarian for an emergency C-section.
And as they took the last puppy out of her, she stopped breathing. And she was just under a lot of stress then, I guess. She was 2 days in the pre-stages of whelping. And I was up with her for 2 nights, so I was pretty stressed out too. But, you know, it was really hard. It was the hardest thing I ever went through yet. And when she passed away, I just couldn't even go down and see her. And when they were first born, I was constantly worried about them getting enough food. But when I see them like this is great.
No Newfie goes hungry here. And they have the burps to prove it. You also can see the satisfaction in a young Newfie's eyes. They turn from blue to brown by 6 weeks.
And most of the pups are all similar. It's just like, this one here is the only one that you'll be able to distinguish because of her white chest. She gets that from her grandmother.
Matt tied a different colored piece of yarn loosely around their fuzzy necks to keep the pups straight. Following in Abby's footsteps, one little girl nicknamed Burgundy Female has captured Matt's heart.
She reminds me of Abby. And her back legs and that are really put together good. She just looks like a real nice, well-balanced puppy. And she's got a pretty face. That's a plus that she reminds me of Abby. She gets a little bit extra attention. And she comes looking for it now, too.
The pups that fit in Matt's hands will soon be a handful.
They're around 12 pounds now, 10 to 12 pounds, I would imagine. In 6 months, I'd say they're between 70 and 80 pounds. 1 year, probably 100.
In a few weeks, the puppies will go to their new families, all 7 healthy and hardy, a long way from the fragile little orphans Matt embraced.
Like the vet was over last night to give them their shots and said, you know, you beat the odds. And I'm glad.
If you're looking for a breed whose love is as lasting as the ocean is deep, you can't land a better dog than the Newfoundland. The Newfie's best known for his obliging disposition. This family pet gets 4 treats out of 4 for personality. Maintenance, 2 treats. First and foremost is the slobber. It's best to keep a drool towel close by. 2 treats for health. As with most large breeds, hip dysplasia and congenital heart disease are possible. 3 treats for trainability. The breed's history as a working dog makes the Newfie a teacher's pet. Swimmability? Off the scale. A Newfie's strong muscled tail works as a rudder. His webbed feet and large lung capacity add endurance. 4 treats out of 4. Latte is lapping up the awards for her strong swimming and saving skills.
Latte obviously taught me to overcome my fear of water. I had to learn to overcome that.
This wonder dog has now advanced to the senior water dog level. Remember Matt Brazel's little junior named Burgundy Female?
I think this might be the keeper.
She's found a home, Matt's home.
Her registered name will be Harbour Masters Cape St. Mary's, and her call name will be Kelland.
Named after Otto Kelland, who wrote the song, Let Me Fish Off Cape St. Mary's, a Newfoundland favorite. The Newfoundland's great heart and hearty build make it a breed apart from all others.
You love watching the show. Now call the number on your screen so you can own it. Consider this. High-quality Animal Planet videotapes are guaranteed to never shed on your sofa, make unsightly messes, or eat your neighbor. A high-quality VHS Animal Planet videotape of this program is available for only $14.95 plus shipping and handling. It's the risk-free way to own your favorite Animal Planet shows. So pick up the phone, call the number, and become another satisfied Animal Planet videotape owner.